They weren't just forgotten, they were erased. Marvel once promised these heroes the universe, then quietly shut the door and never looked back. They were Marvel's next big hope, heroes with comics, crossovers, and big ideas behind them. But somewhere between cosmic wars and endless reboots, the universe quietly gave up on them. No grand finale, no redemption arc, just silence. Some returned for a cameo or a reboot that never stuck. Others never came back at all. They were erased by time, by sales charts, or by creative burnout. So who were these heroes, and how did the Marvel Universe let them slip away? Here are 10 Marvel heroes the universe quietly gave up on. At number 10 is Starbrand. Once Marvel's answer to cosmic power, he was meant to rival the Silver Surfer. Created in the 80 seconds as part of Marvel's new universe, Starbrand could rewrite reality itself. The concept was massive, the potential endless, but the stories never matched the promise. The tone shifted, writers changed, readers moved on. The new universe collapsed, and with it, Starbrand vanished. Every few years, Marvel tried again, a new host, a new era, but none lasted. Starbrand became a reminder that even limitless power means nothing if no one cares to read about it. At number 9 is Jack of Hearts. He was half human, half Contraxian, powered by unstable energy that could destroy worlds. His design was stunning, his powers cosmic, and his backstory tragic. He looked like a star, literally, but every time Marvel tried to make him shine, he burned too bright. He joined the Avengers, saved lives, and even sacrificed himself more than once. Yet each return ended the same way, forgotten, dead, or written out between events. Jack of Hearts was a character too unstable for the stories around him. The universe didn't just forget him, it couldn't contain him. At number 8, we have the Sentry, the man with the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. A hero who once stood beside Thor and Iron Man, but carried the darkness of his own creation, the Void. The Sentry was meant to be Marvel's Superman, a myth reborn in the modern age. But every story about him ended the same way, with death, erasure, or a reality reset. He was too powerful, too tragic, too meta for Marvel's world, so they wrote him out again and again. Each resurrection came with a promise, each death with a sigh of relief. In the end, the Sentry didn't just fall, he was quietly buried by the weight of his own legend. At number 7 is Sleepwalker, a guardian from the dream dimension who patrolled human minds like a superhero of the subconscious. He debuted in the early 90 seconds, blending surreal horror with classic heroism. But readers weren't sure what to make of him. Too weird for mainstream fans, too tame for horror lovers. His series faded fast. Sleepwalker showed up briefly during crossover events, then vanished again. He became a whisper, the hero who fought nightmares and then became one himself, haunting the long-forgotten corners of Marvel's imagination. At number 6 is Darkhawk, a teenage hero who discovered an alien amulet that transformed him into a techno-armored warrior. His debut in the early 90 seconds was electric. He was fresh, mysterious, and cool in a way that felt ahead of his time. For a while, he had a loyal following, even appearing alongside Spider-Man in the New Warriors. But as the decade faded, so did he. His backstory grew tangled. His powers got rewritten. The tone of Marvel shifted, and Darkhawk slipped into the void of maybe someday. Every attempt to bring him back ended with another reboot or cancellation. The universe didn't destroy Darkhawk, it simply stopped noticing him. At number 5 is Machine Man, a robot with a soul, struggling to understand humanity in a world that never accepted him. Created by Jack Kirby, he was meant to be a bridge between man and machine. He had philosophy, humor, and heart, but the timing was off. His series stumbled through the late 70 seconds and early 80 seconds, before vanishing entirely. Later writers tried to turn him into a punchline, then a relic, then a forgotten experiment in Marvel's archives. Machine Man never failed. He just never found a world that fit his story. a hero built for the future, left behind by it. At number 4 is Dazzler. She was born out of disco, literally, a singer who turned sound into light, combining pop stardom and superhero flair. Marvel marketed her like a multimedia icon, with music tie-ins and crossover dreams. For a moment, she was unstoppable. She fought villains, performed concerts, and even joined the X-Men. But when disco died, so did Dazzler's spotlight. Her powers didn't fade, but her popularity did. She became a joke to some, a nostalgic name to others. Over time, Marvel used her sparingly, a cameo here, a nostalgic nod there. She once turned music into power, but the universe turned the volume down. At number 3 is the Shroud, a dark vigilante trained by mystic forces after being blinded. He looked like Marvel's answer to Batman mixed with Doctor Strange. For a time, that mystery worked. He appeared in Spider-Woman, then moved into solo stories. But the balance never held. He was too magical for street-level tales, too grounded for cosmic ones. His character floated between genres until he was nowhere at all. The Shroud wasn't defeated by villains, he was defeated by confusion. Marvel never knew what to do with him, so they didn't. At number 2 is Wonder Man. Simon Williams, a Hollywood actor with ionic super strength and the heart of a hero. He was charming, powerful, and flawed in a human way that fans loved. He starred in the West Coast Avengers and even had romantic tension with Scarlet Witch, but after the 90 seconds, he faded. Too many stories about death and resurrection wore thin. He became background noise in events where he once led the charge. The universe didn't reject him outright. It just forgot he was special. At number 1 is Captain Universe, the Unipower, a cosmic force that chooses ordinary people in moments of crisis and turns them into the universe's ultimate protector. It's one of Marvel's most fascinating ideas. Anyone can become the hero. Spider-Man, Hulk, even a single mother or a scientist have carried that power. But for all its promise, Captain Universe never found a lasting place. No single identity, no ongoing story. Just fragments scattered across decades of comics. Every time the Unipower appeared, it hinted at something bigger, a cosmic spirit of hope that Marvel never fully explored. Then, just as quickly, it was gone again. The universe's greatest champion, forgotten by the very cosmos that created it. Marvel's universe is built on legends, the Spider-Men, the Iron Men, the gods, the mutants. But behind them are shelves of characters left in the dark. Each one once carried the promise of something new, a genre shift, a bold experiment, a glimpse into what Marvel could become. And yet, they were erased not by villains, but by indifference. The world moved on. Readers grew up. Editors changed. What once felt groundbreaking started to feel risky. The heroes who didn't fit were quietly put away. But their stories still hum under the surface echoes of what Marvel once dared to try. Starbrand's limitless potential, Jack of Hearts' tragic brilliance, the Sentry's impossible burden, Dazzler's bright rebellion, Machine Man's lonely search for humanity. They all remind us that even in a universe of immortals, not everyone gets remembered. So maybe the question isn't why the universe gave up on them. Maybe it's why it ever remembered them at all. They burned bright, vanished fast, and left echoes that still shimmer through Marvel's history. Maybe the universe gave up on them, but stories like these remind us that forgotten heroes never stay buried forever.